This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
All right, we are back to Unleash Your Purpose podcast with your host, Ryan Center, co-host now and pseudo-celebrity, Sara Centers. This is just a little life story update, a little fun little hurrah we did a few weeks ago. I'm wearing my slippers here, but 2 weeks ago I was in dress shoes.
Yes, you were.
Because we had a crazy opportunity. We got a call after someone saw us in People magazine. And they saw our family and they're like, we want you to come on some national show. And Jennifer Hudson, her show, asked if we would fly out to LA to go on her show. And 2 weeks ago we did, and it was a crazy experience. So we said, hey, let's just talk about all the behind the scenes stuff of that.
Yes. And I wonder if there are things we're not allowed to share. I was thinking you might have to beep some stuff out after we look at the paperwork that we signed.
Yeah, there was some paperwork there. So we got a call from the producers, and before it was kind of really, I think they just went into our DMs and messaged me and said, hey, we saw you in People. We are from the Jennifer Hudson Show. We just want to really intrigue about your story. This is no commitment to be on the show. Just want to learn about your family. So they wanted to do a Zoom call. They said, make sure it's well lit. Make sure you're on camera. Share your story. And what we learned pretty quickly is they were interviewing us to say, can they go on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a producer that helps find talent, I guess.
But they also did not interview the kids yet.
Oh, that was their mistake.
They had just interviewed us.
That's true.
And they had called us back in the spring.
Yes.
And so we were supposed to go on.
It didn't work out.
It didn't work out timing wise with our kids and everything. And then last minute phone call, a producer calls Ryan and says, hey, your family came to mind. We were sitting around talking about our upcoming Christmas episode. We're doing Christmas early in October because Jennifer Hudson is coming out with her first ever holiday album. And we would love for you to be the highlighted family. And it's in 2 weeks. And you were like, I got to check my schedule. And I was like, please, Lord, let his schedule be open. I didn't realize how much work it would be in that 2 week period, though, leading up to it.
Yes. So we committed. And then within the next day or so, I mean, they have a team. They are the most professional. It's like with Warner Brothers. And then you get connected with travel team and the producer. There's a producer that was amazing. And she just worked with our family for the weeks coming up to it, booking flights. And they said, we want the whole family there. So they booked 14 flights for all of us to go out there. And all the details. And then we had multiple Zoom calls with just us talking about the show, the questions, what it would look like. Then it wanted to talk to the kids on Zoom.
And we kept thinking the Zoom call was going to be like, hey, quick check-in. Here's what you're supposed to wear. Here's the information needed. But it was deep family way back questions because they were basically building this story. It was almost an hour and a half interview for a 6-minute segment.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a 10-minute segment and they cut us down to 6 minutes.
Because there was so much other great stuff happening. And mind you, she was singing because it was her holiday album. So it was a lot of stuff going on.
You went full on mom mode and they said, hey, it's a fancy holiday special, so wear Christmas clothes and go buy the Christmas clothes in October.
Pajamas, and she was like, no, think you're going to a fancy Christmas party. And I was like, oh, but that is really hard to do with the 9 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from store to store to store attempting to find Christmas colors, which right now are not out. It's mostly oranges and browns and fall and maroons. I did multiple trips to Old Navy, multiple trips to Kohl's, multiple trips to Target, Walmart. We went to the mall. I went to Dillard's, Macy's. And
then you found everyone's stuff, but then we had no option for me, and we were shopping out. I haven't been into a mall in years. Yeah. And we went through Dillard's and every single store to find just some kind of Christmas shirt.
We ended up going out on a date night unexpectedly because We literally were walking around for hours, and we were like, I don't know the last time we've walked this long in a mall, which we don't want to do that. We usually like to go into our stores, get the stuff that we like, and leave. And we were just clueless. So then we thought, let's have a little happy hour. And then
that was great. So we got all the stuff, got all the Christmas. Everyone's in their little Christmas ties and the colors. You did a great job. The night before, my barber, shout out to Transformational Cuts, Mitch Garcia, comes to our house, cuts up all the boys and my grandson and my son-in-law, and we are looking good.
Yep.
And
fresh hair.
Fresh hair for the morning that we have to leave for the airport at 4 a.m. with all of our kids because we're getting to Warner Brothers Studios by like 8 a.m. for the show taping that's not till 4 p.m. And then we had a flight out at like 8 that night. So it's going to be a 1-day blitz of going there. So we get to the airport, all of us through, and they've flown before, so that wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
But getting there was super, everyone was super excited because we felt like the kids were like, oh, we're a celebrity because you show up. And they have all the guys in their suits, and they had
had signs that said Centers, and they were all so classy. They had snacks there were 3 Suburbans.
Yeah.
Two of them were like
the Escalade ones. Or
yeah,
whatever.
Ricky just loves them. I don't know, they're like fancier.
Yeah.
And
so they get our
snacks, waters, and so everyone's like eating it because it's free. So
and they get us to Warner Bros. Studios. I mean, this is where like all the shows are. Like The Bachelorette and Bachelor people were next door. The old Ellen Studios is now where Jennifer Hudson goes. We don't speak of her name, but it's the J Hud show.
That's actually what they said jokingly, but we can say Ellen. She's
And so we went to there. We went get checked in. They take us behind stage and they say, all right, hey, we have a green room for you. But it's a really packed show because what you don't realize is this production is next level. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of people all throughout this multiple floors of a studio, and there's different rooms, and they actually film on average 2 to 3 shows a day.
Yeah.
So 2 to 3 hour shows. Each segment has its own producer. They have hair and makeup stations that they go to. Then the producer pulls you out and does interviews with you and practices. Then at one point we had to go do a walkthrough, which we could talk about. You go on stage or go to the actual studio before the audience arrives, and you don't meet Jennifer Hudson, but you're with your producer, and you walk into this big, huge studio, and it was like next level. They open up the doors. It's like cameras everywhere. I mean, all of the producers around. It was really that was cool.
It was very surreal.
It was not like local news option. This is like high end stuff.
And it was interesting that all of their like producers and the people that were working and helping us and talking about clothes and different things, they were always running and mostly sweaty.
Oh, they were booking
always. It was insane.
Yeah. So they get, but it was a packed show for their holiday special. So they bring us 14 of us to our green room. And I think they underestimated the sheer number of our children, or they said, hey, this is all the rooms we got. We got 2 little rooms for us.
Originally, they had planned 4 rooms for us because the babies needed to nap. But because it was the holiday special, they had a huge band. They had all these people. It was just not enough space for us.
Yeah. So we may do. So we get into these little rooms. All the kids are so excited. They feel like they're seeing celebrities. We hear that we may get to meet Terry Crews, and the kids are so excited for that. And I'm really nerding out for this.
And actually, I would say our daughter Pima said, "Did you hear Tom Cruise is here?" And we were like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, Tom Cruise." And we're like, "Okay, different guy."
Yeah, but she knew exactly who Terry Crews was.
Yes.
That was his name. Yeah,
but she was still calling him that.
Yeah. So we get to we get to the green rooms. They have snacks for us, and then within minutes, the producers are showing up, and they're pulling out. They want our clothes that we brought because they have a wardrobe people.
Yeah.
And then Pima brought her wardrobe, and I guess it was not
Oh, poor Pima. Hers came in on Amazon Wednesday, the day before.
She didn't try it on.
She did not try it on. She puts it on, and it looks like she had brought a red blanket with her from home and just threw the blanket on her body. And I loved it so much that the producer was like, don't worry, we've got you. And actually, Jennifer Hudson's seamstress seamed up Pima's outfit, like fitted her to it, made it scrunch the right way, and they sewed it for her right then
so
and there.
pretty, yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah, so they took all of that stuff, steamed all of our stuff, and then the producers bring Sara and I out. We kind of talk through the some of the questions and kind of the style. They're not giving us words to say, but they're saying, "Hey, you have 30 seconds to answer this question."
Yeah.
And Ryan, this is your question. Sara, this is your question. And let me remind you, we've done some on-camera stuff before. I've talked in front of thousands of people. My mouth does not get dry very often. But I literally turned into
although you are diabetic.
Yeah, maybe it was just the beatus. But when I knew it was in the national news and they're prepping us with these questions, you have 30 seconds, it was I could not swallow. My entire throat was closing up because of how dry my mouth was. And I could sense it when we were practicing. And I was like, oh, crap, this is going to happen on the show. And sure enough, the moment we get on the show, I'll just fast forward and go back. Our friend who was with us, she said, I could see you, how dry your mouth was. Because even the producer, if we're backstage, I'm holding a water bottle because I'm like, this is so bad, cotton mouth. And she's like, Ryan, put the water down. You're about to go on camera.
They keep telling him to put the water bottle down, and he keeps taking a drink and inching closer to the stage with his water bottle in hand.
And they're like, oh, there's water on there. There was no water. There's water for J-Hud, not for me. And literally I am Sarah's answering the questions and I'm licking my lips. You can see it on camera, zoom in on me licking my lips. And I'm just trying to get any sort of moisture before I have to answer this question. Hey, fellow purpose-driven leaders. If you're loving what you're hearing, we need your help to keep spreading inspiration so others can unleash their purpose too. If you're finding value in our discussions about purpose, entrepreneurship, faith, and family, here's how you can support us. First off, hit that subscribe button right now to make sure you never miss an episode. By subscribing, you'll get notified every time we release a new podcast packed with wisdom and encouragement. Next, take a moment to share this episode with your friends, family, and followers. Whether it's a text message, a post, or a shout out, your recommendation helps us reach more people who are seeking inspiration on their journey. And finally, if you've been enjoying our podcast, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your reviews not only motivate us to keep creating great content, but they also help others discover our show and join our purpose-driven community. So let's keep the momentum going. Subscribe, share, and review the Unleash Your Purpose podcast today, and together, let's make a positive impact on the world, one listener at a time. Now let's dive back into today's episode. Okay, so we do our interview, then we have to do a walk through.
So what you don't realize, now let's take you back to the green room. So we have two green rooms. They are both 10 by 10, maybe? Yeah. Very small child rooms. One had a working TV, the other did not. So we spent a lot of time on tablets that day because we were not allowed to leave the room unless we were asked to. So you put a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and all of our elementary age kids into two little rooms, and they could not go anywhere.
Yeah. Because there's celebrities there and they're not supposed to mingle
or see them in the halls. There's the studio. We asked if we could just take the little kids outside to run around in the parking lot that you couldn't even see any other things happening, and it wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed.
Yeah, they're very high security. Yeah. And at that point now it's the kids got up at 4 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning, and you have a 2 and a 3-year-old, and that's what the dry mouth was the amount of stress that I'm watching now. It's 1 o'clock and these two kids are so wild and screaming bloody murder. And I'm they're about to go out to see this hundreds of audience and on national TV, and they are total crazy children.
Yeah.
So we attempted to give him a nap. We put one.
Papa and Dad had to sit in the room with both of them. They're
Once he's
both
the Papa
in
and Dad.
place.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm both.
So he's Papa and Dad. And Cyrus and Jonah, when they're in the same room together, they talk to each other or keep each other up. But both of them have this little fear of Dad. And so they sat and took a nap quietly for about an hour.
Yeah. So that was good.
And then the producers was like, it's time now to get dressed.
It's
get
like,
dressed.
hurry up and wait.
Hurry up,
Get dressed. We have a special segment for you guys. We just found out that you guys are going to be on stage introducing J Hud with Terry Crews and another lady to the audience.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? So we're hurry up, like getting dressed, and they're like, go downstairs. And then within seconds, they're like, all right, welcome the Centers family. And the whole audience is full of people and they're all screaming. And that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet until I looked down and my 5-year-old is holding the hand of a very well-known actress. And she looks like she was kidnapped. And I'm like, I promise you, these kids love us. They are not being forced to be here. But she's like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah. And the lights, the cameras,
like, dance, baby. This is fun. Like holiday music. And
we're all dancing. We're all dancing. We have our album. We're passing them out to the audience. It was super cool.
I'm in heels. I can barely walk. I'm about to fall down the stairs. And I'm watching my 5-year-old who's mean mugging the whole crowd because she does not know how to act in like those situations. I mean, it's scary. It's a lot of strangers.
And then they're zooming in, like you could see on TV, like our other son who's 11 years old that like he also doesn't know how to handle emotions.
He's
and
12.
like zoom in and he's 12. Well, yeah, whatever.
He's also mean mugging. He looks like a thug.
Yeah, he's thugging people out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is a great family to highlight.
He looked like so pissed to be there.
I'm like, no, they're just nervous. They just look like they hate life. They're loving this on the inside.
They really love it on the inside.
Yeah. So yeah, we end up doing that whole segment, and then we get to walk out with Terry Crews, and they were high-fiving the kids and talking to them, and we're talking about AGT when we visit him at AGT, and he was talking to us about that. And he kept doing his peck dance.
His peck dance.
Yes,
I won't do it for you, but I can do it.
And my kids always said, Dad, why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? And I told him, thanks for making me feel so insecure about
He also works out on holidays. So
that's
there's
true.
that. He does not
I need to start doing
that. And the other thing, when we would walk out and film little segments and then had a chance to like go sit in the lobby, Jonah, our 3-year-old, everyone is supposed to be quiet when she's interviewing people. And Jonah behind the scenes is stomping his feet like a T-Rex. And all of the staff like come running and I just have to pick him up. But I'm like, it was the most stressful day.
Yeah.
I think that we've had.
It was so awesome, but also I don't think I've been that stressed. And we've done a lot of stressful, it was a different type of stress because at that point, now our segment's about to go. My mouth is as dry as can be. It's 4 p.m. We have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old who are so tired and wild. They're not, one's crying and one's tired and wild. And we're walking out and like Sarah's like, all right, you hold Jonah because he'll listen to you. And boy, was that a mistake.
Which is so interesting because he does listen to you. He sits next to you at dinner. Like he's typically like really quiet. And it was like the exhaustion of the day and him being bound up in this room. He could give a crap what you said to him. So
they welcome us on. Everyone's cheering us. We go and sit in our assigned seats. And Sarah does a great job interviewing. What you didn't see is if they had the cut is there were multiple moments where Jonah is getting up and running around the table. And then at one point, Jennifer Hudson grabs him and holds him and puts him on her lap. I'm like, you are a lucky, lucky boy. Yeah. And he's like yelling at the audience, like, hey, hi. And everyone's yelling hi back. And they're trying to.
And it's like kind of cute, but it's not. And
one time it was cute.
Yeah.
The 5th time, and you're trying to be like this calm parent. Like
yeah.
you're on national news and you're smiling and their kid's like acting like a total jerk and he's like flailing his body.
Parents have 11 kids.
Yeah, look at them. Look
it's
at the kid's out of control. Yeah, and you can't do nothing about it. You're like acting, oh, this is totally normal. Isn't this fun? And I finally like lift him up over in my head and give him to one of the kids to hold him, and we try to get through the interview.
A great job. It was brutal.
Oh.
They cut out so much stuff. They were actually supposed to ask questions to like 3 of our other kids.
Yeah.
It all got cut
because
like
Jonah took up like his energy.
Yeah, his energy took up a lot of it, and I think Jennifer is so good at just like looking
rolling
over
with it,
rolling. Like she was just like, oh, it's kids, and like okay.
Yeah,
like,
they brought toys over
great.
to try to help with the situation. And what you see like Saturday Night Live, you see like they have these cue cards, but they have cue cards for her too. So they hold up the question on like big poster boards, and then the next question said Brooklyn. Like our daughter was going to ask her a question, and she was prepped and ready to go. But then it was going long, and then you see them put the cue card out, and it says go to promo.
It's like wrap it up.
Wrap it up. I'm like, what's a promo? And then all of a sudden she like surprises us, and she says, we know you're a holiday family. You guys exemplify love, and they brought out all these stockings and gifts for us. But then the best part is they hooked us up with like a huge vacation, which we had no idea at all.
No idea. Like when we got the Christmas pajamas, I was so excited because I was like, I do matching pajamas every year. And last year it was way more expensive than it ever has been. And so I was like, that took off so much off my plate of the shopping and the size finding.
So it was like all expense paid for VRBO and Expedia to go anywhere in the United States, flights included. So we last week or this Sunday for family dinner.
Oh, you're going to tell. Oh, we voted.
We voted.
Don't tell where we're going.
We don't tell where we're going?
No, don't tell where
we voted as a family, and I was outvoted. And the kids are very, very
Ryan
excited.
Said Michigan. Oh, come on.
No, I also said
Michigan.
I also said Yellowstone.
Yeah, I know. It's not something you do on a trip you won.
I thought it sounds awesome.
Woo-hoo, let's go be freezing and see nice animals, which whatever. We can do that at the ranch.
Okay, well, so we're hint, we're not doing
going there.
So you'll have to stay tuned for this trip that's coming up, and we're really excited. So it was a bucket list item, and it was a once in a lifetime. And we're grateful to the J Hud Show. We're lifelong fans forever.
Yeah, I would say I feel like being there felt like we were like at a church. Like everyone was so positive and communal. They were all very kind and loving, and really just wanted to treat us well. And the funniest part was that they got us 2 boxes of pizza for 14 people for lunch, and it was gone in minutes. And so they're like, oh my gosh, we'll get you more. But it was like all the food scarfed down. I'm like, I don't think they realize like how much the teenagers eat in the family. But
so they got 4 more pizzas.
They were so accommodating and kind to us.
And brought us, and then, took us back home and sent us photos. And then, then they do post after the show, they did post production and like digital media and interviews that they're going to put on social and things like that. So it's a well-oiled machine. Really, I was so impressed. I love production and creativity. So watching it in action was like I was totally nerding out. Yeah. So it puts our little podcast studio to shame.
Yes, it sure does. This was about the size of the green room.
Yes, it was. So a little behind the scenes. We never thought we'd do it, but we're glad we did. Yeah. So that is all we got for you. So any other shows looking to need to sponsor a family for a family vacation, we're available.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.